guys, today we're going to be chatting about the best in beauty, in my opinion, for 2017. I'm going to go through each kind of step in my makeup routine, tell you about one or two products, sometimes 3 or 4, that really blew me away this year. I'm not necessarily doing high-end in drugstore. Some categories have all drugstore, some have all high-end. Just really the products that stood out to me. And these products are not products that I included in my best in beauty of 2016. So these are all products that either launched this year or really stood out to me this year for whatever reason. And yes, I am for the most part barefaced. I'm prepping to go on vacation right now. I filmed 2 videos this morning, had like a full-on, like full coverage foundation on, and then I just was like, you know what? I just want to be able to touch my face. You know how it just feels so good? Like, I love makeup. I'm about to talk to you for like 20 minutes about makeup, but I love being able to touch my face. So I've got mascara, brow gel, a little bit of highlighter on. Let's do this. Let's talk about primers first, which I've said this over and over again. I have a love-hate relationship with primers. I have a ton of primers. I probably own 50 primers, but for whatever reason, I have a really hard time truly seeing a difference when I use them. But I do have 2 primers that I want to mention to you that I really do love, and I'm continually testing them, and I promise you I will do some primer-related videos, but I just don't want to throw up a video because you're asking for it. I want to have actually good recommendations for you. One recommendation that I can make that's pricey but delightful is the YSL Touche Éclat Blur Primer. You can see I've used a ton of this. I try not to use it like on the everyday. I use it for more special occasions because it's just so pricey and so beautiful, but I really think that it's pricey, but it's good. It's hard to explain exactly what this does for me, but my makeup just always looks better, it wears better. It does have these gold flecks in there, and you can kind of see it on your skin when you apply it, but once you put your foundation on, there's no glitter, there's no glow. It's not necessarily like incredibly mattifying, but it does smooth, it does help with oil control, I find, and it's just an overall better look to my face when I do use this. Secondly, a primer that is a little bit newer to me is the Smashbox Photo Finish Iconic Primer Stick. I really like this, first of all, because it comes in a stick format, but sometimes things in stick formats can be hard and kind of drag on your skin and pile up, but I don't find that this is the case. If you're looking for something to smooth out pores that's super simple, has some mattifying properties in there too, this is a really great option, and the fact that it comes in a stick just makes it so much easier and really good for just, you know, drawing on the face, smooth it out with your hands, and then you're good to go. So we're skipping right over foundations because I'm going to be doing a best foundations of 2017 video, so stay tuned for that next week. We're moving right on to concealers, and this is going to come as no surprise to anybody if you have seen even one of my videos. It is the Tarte Shape Tape. I am a huge concealer junkie. You've seen my declutter videos. I have a ton of concealer. I would gladly throw out every single concealer I own and just use this one. You need the tiniest amount for a little bit of a lighter medium coverage. You can build it up to something more full. You need a tiny amount. I have been using this all year. I do my makeup quite often, be it for videos, events, just daily life, and I really love this. If you have super dry under eyes, I don't know that it would work for you, but for me, it just wears really beautiful on the skin. It's good on my oily skin because it's quite matte, but it doesn't look super dry. And I know a lot of the time when you may see this in action, be it on Instagram or YouTube, you're seeing like a huge triangle under the eyes. I put like 3 dots, then blend out the dots, and it's perfect, ready to go, looks really good on the under eyes. But I did want to mention one drugstore option, and these aren't concealers, these are correctors, and I really have been loving these. There's a great shade range as well, which is why it's another product that I highly recommend. These are the Maybelline Master Camo pens. My personal favorite is the Apricot, which is deep enough for my skin tone, even a little bit deeper, I think, which I really appreciate. And then there's a red, which is amazing for truly deep skin. And then there's also a green here, which is great for redness. As you can see, I do have some active breakouts for sure, and I have been reaching for this when I want to have a more full coverage look. And what I like about these is that they do really good on the under eyes. They also do really good in spot concealing. It's a really nice creamy texture, and yeah, I've done a video on these before. Any videos that I have related to any of these products will be linked down below. Another question on top of primers that I always get is powders, and I am working on some powder videos for you, so stay tuned, but I did want to give you 3 recommendations, especially if you have oily skin. I have talked about this powder so many times, but I realized I didn't include it in my best of beauty of 2016. I think because I had just gotten it at the end of 2016. I have used up an entire one of these, which That's a big deal. This is so good. It is one of the best mattifying powders I've ever used. I should tell you what it is. It's the CoverGirl Outlast All Day Matte Finishing Powder. It only comes in 3 shades. I use the darkest shade, but it really doesn't have much color. I've used the lighter shade as well. And I really truly see a difference when I use this, and I really feel like it does help combat my oils. Super affordable as well. Another powder that I have been loving, which is a loose powder, it's from Inglot. This is their mattifying loose powder, and the way that I use this for the most part is I'll set my face with this, and then I'll kind of just dust this down my T-zone after I've powdered with the CoverGirl, or sometimes after I've used a setting spray, just to really lock things in place and help with the mattifying of my skin. And I do have a third powder that I want to mention. I have been playing around a lot this year with powdering my primer, then putting foundation over it. It's been something I've been doing for a really, really long time, but I'm just still trying to figure out all the best powders for it before I really get into a video about it for you. But one powder that I have been loving for that is from Dior, and this is obviously not super cheap, but I've really been liking this, and I feel like I reach for this during times when I really want my makeup to last a long, long time, or I want it to be super, super flawless. And this is the Dior Forever and Ever Control Extreme Perfection Matte Finish Invisible Loose Powder. Damn, that's a lot of names, but it is a super smooth, really mattifying powder. Looks really gorgeous on the skin. It's translucent, but I really like it under my foundation, but I also do like it over my foundation as well. Really, really finely milled. Next up are my brows, and the drugstore has totally stepped up their game this year. There are so many drugstore brow products that I love, but 2 that really stuck out to me are both from the drugstore. The first is from Essence, and I've talked about this a ton. It's the Essence Eyebrow Gel Color and Shape. This is the one that's in the pot. It's in the pot. It's in the pot. Whenever I talk about this, people think I'm talking about the eyebrow gel that's like the gimme brow. No, in the pot. Here it is. In the pot, in the pot, in the pot, in the pot. I think it only comes in 1 shade, but it's just the most beautiful brow pomade. It's much easier to work with than a lot that I have tried that are very pigmented, very creamy. You can end up having a really heavy brow, but this is just so natural. I think it could be kind of a universal-ish shade, or definitely on the spectrum of brown brows, depending on how deep they are. But you can go a little lighter, you can go a little heavier. It's just foolproof, lasts really, really long on your face, and also it'll last really long in the bottle or the pot, because you use the tiniest amount, and this is like $4. Then the other product that I want to mention is the only thing I have in my brows right now. This is from CoverGirl. It is the Easy Breezy Brow Gel, and I've talked about this in favorites videos and tutorials I think before, and I love this because of the way it makes my brows look. It gives them a lot of dimension. It makes them look fluffy. Like, I don't wax this front portion of my brow to make sure that it stays fluffy and big. I don't like the super, super sculpted look. This, however, can be messy. I wipe off the brush before I use it, but I'm totally down to do that because of the end result that I get. So keep that in mind. It can definitely be messy. It may not be for everybody. If you have really very few brow hairs and you're drawing on your brows and you want to go in with a gel, this is not going to be for you. But if you do have a more full brow, you're looking to kind of give that like controlled but bushy look, this does a great job. Comes in a few different shades, has a really, really nice hold as well. On to mascaras. This is another category that is fully drugstore. Eyebrows and mascara for me are 2 things that you can get at the drugstore and you can have an incredibly high-end look, satisfactory results. There are just so many good options out there. I had a really hard time picking mascaras, but the first that I want to mention, no matter the type of mascara you prefer, is just the most beautiful base. Talked about it a million times. There shouldn't be many surprises in this video because of course they are my overall favorites, but it's the L'Oreal Voluminous Lash Primer. I know a lot of you have tried this on my recommendation. Seems like a lot of people are liking it, which is so good to hear. If you have lashes that just need a little bit of help, they need a little bit of volume, this is so beautiful. I've used this under tons of different mascaras that have different types of bristles, different types of formulas, and whenever I add this into my routine, it just gives such a beautiful boost to the lashes. As you know, I really don't wear false lashes, so this is just like when I really want to amp up my look, this is what I reach for. Then I have 3 mascaras that really blew me away this year. The first is the L'Oreal Lash Paradise. It seems like so many people were into this and I really enjoy it more than I enjoy the Better Than Sex. It gives tons of volume, tons of length, and it didn't flake on me. none of these did. Then also from Essence, they had a bunch of new mascaras out this year, and I really liked all of them, but the one that stood out to me the most and the one that I'm wearing today is the newest in the Lash Princess line, and this is the Sculpted Volume Mascara, tons of volume, tons of length. And then a mascara that I tried most recently that blew me away, I cannot stop wearing, is from Maybelline. This is their Total Temptation mascara. A lot of people were asking for comparisons between this and the L'Oreal. Did I mention this in a video already? Oh, I have a haul coming up, but I don't know when it got uploaded. I don't know if it has happened. I think it did. Yeah, okay, I've talked about this already, but this has a bit of a thicker formula. It's more of a moussey formula, but as I mentioned in my haul video, it's really hard for me to compare mascaras when they're quite similar. They both are really good, and I feel like with mascaras, it's such a personal preference. I really do enjoy both of them. I can't pick. On to eyeshadow palettes, there's a few that really stuck out to me this year. I feel like there was a lot of great releases, but one that I definitely was just so impressed with, really blew me away, is the Too Faced Just Peachy Mattes palette. I have an entire 3 looks, 1 palette with this if you're looking for some tutorials, but this is just such a beautiful palette. This was what I wanted out of the original peach palette. It had more peach, it just was like beautiful, and the fact that it is all matte and I'm able to get so many great looks out of it, daytime, nighttime, glam, smoky, whatever it may be, it just is a really great layout of colors. It seems to work quite well on a variety of skin tones. The packaging is great. I had great wear time with it, and I was just so incredibly impressed. We'll continue to wear this, and I cannot stop recommending it either. Another palette I really enjoyed and that is incredibly affordable is the ColourPop Yes Please palette. This guy comes in and out of stock. It's just insane, but it is a really beautiful palette. It's got a great selection of shades, $12 American, even though I get hit with customs every time I order from ColourPop, but that's a different story. As you can see, I've gotten lots of use out of this, and I have a 3 looks, 1 palette if you are looking to get some inspiration on what to do with this palette. If you do like it, it is such a good one. Feels really high quality, does not feel like it's worth $12. Speaking of palettes that are amazing, that are incredibly affordable, shouldn't be holding all this on my lap. Speaking of palettes that are incredibly affordable and really good quality, these new ones from Wet n Wild. These are obviously quite brand new to the market, but I have had quite a bit of time to play around with these. So impressed. Rosé in the Air, I have a dedicated video talking about comparing it to the Modern Renaissance, and then this is the Not a Basic Peach, another great option. Really beautiful shades in all these palettes. There's mattes, there's warm shades. It's everything we ever wanted from the drugstore. These palettes have launched on the Wet n Wild website. They should be showing up in stores over the next few weeks if you live in the United States, or probably months if you live in Canada, hopefully sooner than later. And then the last palette that I want to mention, I didn't get a ton of use out of this, but when I did use it, I really enjoyed it, and I thought it just had such a unique amount of shades in there, shades that I don't own anything like, and that is very rare because, you know, I'm kind of a fan of warm browns, but it is the Sephora Pro Palette Editorial. And it's interesting because I deal with Sephora PR. I had requested the warm. I was like, I need the warm, I need the warm, I need the warm, I need to review it, and I absolutely love the warm, but they sent this along too, and I was like, oh, okay, like I would have never reached for that. I would have never used it. I did use it in a video a few months back, but I just thought the shades in here were so interesting. There's so many things in here that I don't own, and I just thought that that was really cool. I really enjoyed the quality. Like these shades up here, they don't look like much, but they're actually all duochromes. Like this could even act as a highlight. Some really cool mattes, all of these warm shades. You got the foiled, so it looks kind of unwearable at a glance, but there's tons of wearable things you can do in there. But it's also fun to have something that's not necessarily wearable, because a lot of us can get stuck in a rut, you get stuck in a routine, and that's fine. It's fine to be comfortable, but I like to push myself out of that comfort zone, and this palette definitely helped me do that. So moving back to the face, this may seem like I'm doing this in a weird order, but if you've ever watched me do my makeup, this is the order I do my makeup in. I bronze, then I go to the eyes and the brows and come back to the face. So I want to talk about some blushes, specifically kind of shades, but also formulas that I really love this year. The first is a blush from Tarte, and this is one of their nudes blushes from the Amazonian Clay line. This one is in the shade Seduce, and I picked this up in Exposed because they're just well, Exposed anyways is something that people talk about like crazy, and I was like, maybe Seduce will be a better option. I didn't really trust that Exposed would work on my skin tone, and it does, but Seduce is one that I like even more. Looks like nothing, looks like just so blah, but but it's so incredibly easy to put on. I traveled with this a ton. I wore it every single day. It was just like a no muss, no fuss, easy to throw on kind of blush, but it still looked really impactful, gave a nice flush to the cheeks, and I just thought it was so pretty. Then Physicians Formula released some deeper shades of their butter blushes, which should be available in Canada coming up over the next few weeks, so keep your eyes peeled at the drugstore. But this blush here in the shade Rosy Pink, and then there's another one called maybe Vintage Pink, and another one that's a little more orange. These impressed me so much. Drugstore blushes can be a little bit tricky. They always have like glitter in there, or they're just, I don't know, they're just never that good. They're never that pigmented. They don't last that long. But these blushes I found last some of the longest of any blushes that I own, high-end or drugstore. So I'm really, really glad that they've decided to extend the shade range. I would love to see even more in the line, some more beautiful shades. It is, however, incredibly scented. I don't mind it, but I don't need it. But this one actually smashed. I had to put it back together. But I think that these are so good. They're not underrated by any means. I mean, you've heard them talked about 100 times, but something you may have not heard being spoken about is this Vasanti blush, besides when I included it in my favorites a little while ago. It's the mineral bronzer. So the other two products in this line I think are bronzers, but this is the kind of the blush. I would consider it a blush for sure. Sun Peach Glow. This really reminds me of Swiss Dot from The Balm, which you know is one of my favorite blushes of all time. I traveled with this. When I travel with something, that means it's serious. So when I travel, for the most part, I'll take something like this, like a Tarte Seduce, and I'll take something like this. These are my two kind of go-tos, and this is a really, really beautiful matte satiny finish. I personally just love the shade of it, but the formula is really beautiful as well. Now this is a very tricky category. We are talking about highlights, and I could have picked honestly 20 highlighters that I discovered this year that I absolutely love. I do, however, have a drugstore highlighters video coming up, so that's why I kind of held back on including too many. So I really just wanted to mention ones that I've reached for a ton, I have traveled with, I can trust, and I absolutely love. So I have two high-end and two drugstore. The first is from Wet n Wild, not this shade in particular. I really like all the shades. I like the Golden Flower Crown the most, but I can't find it right now, so I just wanted to have this for display purposes. These Mega Glow highlighters are amazing, comparable to high-end, such an intense glow. There's no glitter in there. They now come in even more shades, and I'm so impressed, and I could literally just mirror that onto this highlighter as well. I could say all the same things. So impressive, wet look on the skin, not glittery. This is Molten Gold, which is my favorite, but they recently released Molten Rose Gold. They also have some like holographic highlighters. These have a really soft texture, really glowy on the skin, and could easily pass for high-end. The two high-end highlighters that I want to mention, the first is from Dose of Colors. This is in the shade Gold is the New Black, and this is just crazy glow. I reach for this when I'm doing kind of nighttime makeup, something super bold. I have put this on my body. The only problem is it's incredibly soft. I got it shipped from Ulta to my friend's house, and it came with like a tiny, tiny chip in it, and then they sent me another one, but they sent it to her house, so I was like, you know what, you just keep it. But it is so beautiful. It also comes in like 6 different shades, so depending on what you're looking for, there's really beautiful shades in here. It does look a little bit deep in the pan, but on the skin it just has the most intense glow ever. And then the highlight that I'm wearing today is from Fenty Beauty. It's their Kilowatt highlighter in the shade Hustla Baby and Mean Money. Yeah, Mean Money. So I'm wearing only Mean Money. It's the kind of satiny finish one, because I have literally nothing on my face. I don't even have moisturizer on right now. I wash my skin. I know it's probably bad, so I didn't want to go for something super, super glowy. I just wanted to have like a natural look to my skin, and that is why I have this in here, is because I love the split pan. I know a lot of people weren't into the kind of like lighter, less intense highlighter, but if you have texture on your skin, if you don't want something super glowy, you're wearing really, really light makeup, I think that this is stunning, almost prettier than something that's crazy intense, because it really looks like it's your skin. That being said, I love the intense side too, but the reason that I really fell in love with this highlighter is it kind of awoken me to more kind of sheer understated highlighters, we'll say. I almost forgot to talk about bronzers. This is a category where I have two high-end items. I just didn't have a bronzer from the drugstore that I fell in love with this year. So the first one is from Becca. This is one of their Sunlit bronzers. I've talked about this a ton. It has a little bit of a shimmer in it, but I barely really even notice that on the skin. I think that that just helps to make it look even more natural. It just blends into the skin like a dream. It's quite a powdery highlight, so I use a little bit of a less dense brush so I don't get too harsh of an application, but I have just completely fallen in love with this product. And then the second product is from Lorac, you know, is one of the brands that really holds a special place in my heart. I don't know why, and I don't even talk about them that much anymore, but the Lorac Pro 1 was the palette that caused me to fall in love with gold eyeshadow. So it just is very special to me, and I think they make really great products. They, however, can be kind of powdery and kind of pigmented, which can be said for this Tan Lines bronzer. So again, use a little bit of a less dense brush, but once you get it on your face and blend it out, I think it's just so gorgeous. It doesn't make it hard to work with or anything like that, but these are definitely the two bronzers that I have reached for the most this year. I almost forgot, I have talked about this so much this year. I feel like this and Shape Tape were my two like absolute MVPs of the year. It is the Wet n Wild Mega Glow Contour Stick in the shade Where's Walnut. I cannot get enough of this. It made me fall in love with cream contour, and I've really discovered a bunch of other cream contours I love because I'm more willing to try them after trying this. Costs like $4. I wish there was some more shades, that's the only problem, but it blends out so gorgeously on the skin. It is so easy to use. As you can see, mine is like flat on the top. I reach for this all the time. It is so freaking good. I have 3 lip liners that I want to mention that took me forever to find because they were all in various bags. Actually, all of these lip products I had to go get out of bags, which means I truly love these if I'm taking them with me and wearing them all the time. So these are 3 lip liners that I really like, not only the formula, but primarily the shade. Milani Brandy was one of my favorite lip liners. It was discontinued. I could wear it with anything. So these are 3 shades that are very similar or just have that kind of a little bit darker than my lips that really makes nude lipsticks look super good. So the first is from Bite Beauty. This one is in the shade Rich Toffee, I think it is, number 40, and these all have a very similar shade, that kind of like deeper than my lip, a little bit leaning burgundy brown kind of, and this is probably the stiffest of the bunch, but it makes it really easy if it's sharp to do a really precise line around your lips. These lip liners are amazing. The other one that I cannot get enough of, the lid broke off in my purse somewhere, I don't know where it is. You can see it's a mess. Like, this is my favorite. It is the it is the ColourPop lip liner in BFF 3, and they have 3 of these, so I bought BFF 2 as well. It's not as good, but I'm pretty sure that this is supposed to be like your best friend forever lip liner. I think that's what they were going for, as in it's just one of those lip liners that you can reach for any shade, and it is absolutely that for me. The newest one to me that is a really great shade and a really great price is from Wet n Wild. They extended the range of their retractable lip liners. Is that what they call them? Sorry, they're gel lip liners. And this one is in the shade Lay Down the Mauves, and it has, again, that rosy brown that just makes any lipstick work for me. Lip products is always the hardest to narrow down, and it's tricky because I'm always trying to think back to like January. I'm like, what was I wearing in January? And it's almost hard to feel passionate about something that I loved in January that I'm not wearing right now, and it's just like always trying to find that balance of what I actually loved throughout the year and what I'm loving right now. And I mean, it's not the end of the world. It's not that important, but this is something that I did love earlier this year. I mentioned this in my recent Revlon foundation review, and these are the Revlon Ultra HD Gel Lipsticks. I don't hear almost anybody talk about these, and I think they are so good. Really comfortable. They look super juicy on the lips, a nice amount of pigmentation. These are 2 shades that I really love, but I also love the purple and the pink, which I cannot find right now. They're like, lip products are just the hardest thing to keep track of, but they're just really good. They're really comfortable. I'm pretty sure they have, do they have hyaluronic acid in these or something? But either way, they're super comfortable. They're not drying, good amount of pigment. They're kind of glossy, but they don't, I wouldn't say that they're budge proof. They don't move around a ton. A lip liner will help, or blotting will help. And as they wear down, they almost turn into a stain, which looks really beautiful. Another drugstore lip that I loved this year is from Maybelline. These are the Superstay Matte Inks. I love what Maybelline does. I love their Into Matte Nudes. I love their metallics. I love the really bold ones that they had out last year. They do such a good job, and these are really good. Super long wearing on the lips. I find them comfortable. These 2 have been my favorite shades. They released more shades recently, which look even better because there's tons of like nudes and browns in there. But I love the shade Voyager, which is like a deep red, and Pioneer, which is more of like a true bright red. Really comfortable on the lips, incredibly long wearing. I wear this one to dinner. It is fabulous. Like, they're some of my favorite drugstore liquid lips for sure. Moving on to high end, I have a lipstick formula, but more specifically a lipstick shade that I could not get enough of. When I got it, I don't know, it was like 3 or 4 months ago, but I could not stop wearing this. Anytime I had anything kind of important I wore this and I just fell in love with really flawless skin, lots of lashes, and this lip. And this is the NARS Power Matte Lip Pigment in the shade Don't Stop. It is just a beautiful red. I love the Fenty Stunna lip paint that I only got a couple weeks ago, so I didn't feel like I should include it in here. I do really like it. I haven't worn it a ton, but this to me is just, it's so bright. It is so light on the lips, really great wear time, and just every time I wore this, I got so many compliments, which makes you love lip products even more. Then a lip product that's a liquid lipstick, but more of like a lacquer or like a true liquefied lipstick. It is the Bite Beauty Amuse Bouche liquefied lipsticks, and I have the shades Caramelized and Chai here. They come in a ton of different shades. I have a lip swatch video. These are super comfortable, really pigmented, beautiful on the lips. Bite Beauty does an amazing job with lip products. They specialize in lip products, so they know how to make a killer lip, and these were their kind of newest launch, and I just thought that these were so freaking fabulous. Every single shade was consistent, was beautiful, and they wear really nicely on the lips. It's not something that's going to dry down matte. They definitely have more, I think they called it a semi-glaze finish, but really comfortable to wear. The last lipsticks that I want to mention are from Estee Lauder. These are their Pure Color Love lipsticks, and two shades specifically have really just, I've just fallen in love with them. The pink is the shade Rebel Glam, and then I have a more nude that is Naked City. This is really, really nude, but I don't know what it is. It has this beiginess to it. Not gonna lie, when I was in like grade 7, grade 8, no, it would have been high school because I was with my best friend. Would have been high school. Okay, I used to wear concealer on my lips. Almay Blemish Concealer that had a doe foot applicator. I would wear that as a lipstick. So let's just say I'm familiar with beige lipsticks, but this one is actually really, really nice. The formula on the Pure Color Loves are beautiful, really long wearing, especially the matte formulas. And of course, they're not a liquid lipstick, but if you're looking for a more traditional lipstick, I think that these are such a beautiful formula, and the packaging is gorgeous too. So let's finish this off talking about two sprays that I really loved this year, and I'm sure after I finish this, I'm gonna walk away from my desk and realize that I forgot to mention something. That almost always happens with either monthly favorites, hauls, or like this best in beauty where the pressure is on to like gather all the best of the best. Anyways, let's finish this up. My favorite setting spray of the year is from Inglot again. This is their makeup fixer. I had a mini of this, which I traveled with all the time when I was traveling to like Virginia, North Carolina, Maryland, a lot of the time in the summer. And I don't know that this helped mattify a ton, but it really just helped keep things under control, looking good all day. I could refresh with this. It locked things in place. It did a little bit for oil control, but it just really kept things looking vibrant and really good throughout the day. So I purchased the full size, and I've really been enjoying that. And then the second spray is from Tarte. It's their Ready Set Radiant Skin Mist. I've mentioned this a bunch, but I really do love this when things get a little bit too matte on my skin. Sometimes I'll use it as skin prep. Sometimes I'll use it after I've put on a liquid foundation, or if my concealer starts to look weird in the makeup process. I do not like this as a setting spray. It can leave kind of bumps, or not bumps, but like, you know, like the little circles, and it's really not meant to be a setting spray. Perhaps if you have dry skin and you're looking to add a little bit of moisture back, you can go that route. Or sometimes I will spray this on my face and then follow up with a setting spray if I'm feeling super extra. But this is a really, really nice mist as a prep item or to help your skin along. I mean, it's kind of a bit of an extra, but I really do love adding this into my routine. So there you have it. Those are all of my favorite products of the year. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for a fabulous year. I've thanked you in a bunch of videos, so I don't want to get into it too much. Let me know down below what your one game changer product was from this year. For me, if I had to choose, it would be Shape Tape. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for the worst of beauty that's coming up next. If you'd like to connect with me, you can find me. I felt like a news anchor then. That's coming up next on Channel Samantha. It's coming up in my next upload. Anyways, if you'd like to connect with me, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat at SamanthaJaneYT, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!